Hello, Fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of August 2016 General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a big, bold, wonderful month that is set to take place. And there are big things happening in the sky as well that are going to speak to all of us in our own unique ways. And one of the big things is Mars. Mars will be coming to an end of its extended Mars retrograde season. Mars has been retrograde since early this year. I actually did some special horoscopes about this Mars retrograde season. I would encourage you to watch it because it does suggest that you've been engaged in some extended learning. Now, some of this learning has been decidedly financial. Now, thankfully, that's over. So there might have been, since early this year, some expenses, some ups and downs in regards to your money, or just feeling like you got to work harder, you have to give more energy. And just when you feel like you don't have it, you got to do more to get more money. Some of this can happen, like just feeling like you've got to really work hard or be on your hustle a little bit more when you have Mars moving through a financial part of the sky, and especially moving back and forth. It can feel like you're taking one step forward and then you've got to reflect a little bit. Sometimes go back, maybe sometimes not. But that cycle is now done, thankfully. You won't see Mars again in that part of the sky for a couple of years or so. But now we've got Mars in a part of the sky that has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors, and it has to do with communication, it has to do with learning as well. And these can be areas where lots of passions can be stirred, okay, among these kinds of people. But also passions being stirred in terms of just feeling a sense of heightened emotion can happen, and sometimes not knowing if it's okay to express exactly what you're feeling. Maybe some of these people, siblings, cousins, neighbors, have been irritating. Maybe they've been frustrating. It could also be that you've had to learn something and it's been taking a little bit of time to really wrap your mind around what it is that you've got to learn, a new skill you've got to take on. Or maybe there's been needing to take these little different classes, or maybe you've just been really busy in your neighborhood as well. It can be part of this energy. Communications can be misunderstood as well, seem more aggressive than they actually are. You want to keep this in mind because this cycle is going to end late this month. But it's going to end with a real sense of grounding, like a real moment of reality and a real moment of self-reflection as well. Where have you been participating and maybe not been? Like, how is it that some of your actions could be interpreted or not interpreted? Okay, you are going to have that very honest evaluation. You're going to be called on that a little bit. So be open to it. This is good. This is really good because it means that you're able to have that sense of self-awareness and to decide how it is and who it is that you want to be as you interact with other people, what kind of language you want to use and how you want to express yourself, what's worth knowing, what isn't, right? That, I think, is a big lesson, actually, part of getting older. I mean, I think that that's part of like the other side of the Saturn return. So when you turn 30, you're an adult. You've done the transition from youth into adulthood from about 27 and a half and right to 30. At 30, lots of things change in the chart. You've entered a new phase of life. And I think a big sort of one of the markers of this, one of the characteristics of this new phase is that you accept where you are strong and you also accept where maybe you're not so strong, and you decide that you're going to give more energy to where you're strong instead of giving a lot of energy to where maybe you're not. And even if you give it a lot of energy, you may just only be very good. It makes a lot more sense to focus in on your talents and your strengths and what you like to do, and think about how, if there's something else that's necessary, how it is that you can address that or deal with that or whatever you need to do. Get help with that, right? I think that's part of adulthood. This is part of growing up, and that's part of accepting yourself and working with what you got in this lifetime. And I think that that is a lot of what this particular time is going to be or has been about for you as well. Regardless of your age, it has been about coming to a deeper understanding about where you're strong and where you're not. And part of this understanding might have come about through having to learn something and not having it be as easy, realizing what you really want to learn, what doesn't really feel natural, even if you really want it, it might not be right. That's been part of the experimentation. Now your answers are going to come, your moment of truth is going to come, and ultimately that will ground you and that will liberate you and leave you grateful for how this Mars retrograde season has been meant to bless your life. What we also have happening is in the middle of the month, we are going to have an eclipse. Now, this is really interesting because normally eclipses come back to back, 2 weeks apart. That's it. But this time we're having 3 eclipses. So back to back to back, and this is the first, and then we'll have 2 eclipses in the month of September. September is set to be an important month for all of us as well. But I think this is the month where you'll really be able to use this eclipse to your advantage that much more for a few different reasons. And that is because this eclipse is happening in fellow air sign Aquarius, okay? So it's in your element. You're able to use it that much more easily. And then this eclipse is speaking to Uranus in your opposite sign, which is kind of like your home in the sky. So it's a really interesting energy because all the air signs kind of are having this connection with this eclipse in a very positive kind of way. All the air signs are kind of connected to the eclipse based on element, but also that Uranus placement is really important to all the air signs as well. For you, it's in your opposite sign. So this is going to be really good for love, and I'll focus on that in the love-focused horoscope. Good things set to come about in that realm for you. You can rejoice. It'll be great. But in other areas of life, absolutely, this eclipse will bless you. With this harmonious connection that Uranus is making, there's a surprise quality, there's a closure quality. It is a lunar eclipse after all, a full moon eclipse, bringing things to fruition, bringing things to closure, helping things come full circle. And this is true for you, again, putting the romantic part of this aside. Where it comes to creative projects, where it comes to happiness, children that you have, children that you want. In fact, if you want children, or even if you don't, this is going to be a really fertile time for you. So keep that in mind, okay? Of course, if you don't want children, there are lots of things you can do, right? Love the modern world for that. But if you do want children, absolutely work with this energy to your advantage. This is the time where you can either get the right advice or just find yourself surprisingly and happily with child or child coming along. And if you have children, this could be like whether it's a question that's been up in the air, if there's been a challenge there as well. This is good answers coming through, the right answer coming through, feeling like things are moving in a positive direction, positive change is occurring, good decisions are being made on the part of your child that you can feel good about. Early in the month, we do also have a new moon. Now, the new moon is speaking with Saturn. This is a real stable energy, not as happy and bright and dramatic as either the Mars season ending or the Mars retro season ending or the eclipse, but still super positive nonetheless. And what I love about this harmonious conversation with Saturn with this new moon is that it speaks to progress that lasts, decisions that consider the big picture and have a positive effect on your life now and for a long time to come. This particular new moon is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with friendships, your relationship with friends, and any groups you belong to. So new groups, new friends, new associations may show up for you. If you are asked to be a member of a group, join. They will bless your life, bring structure, bring progress, and even bring a measure of success to your life as part of the bigger picture of your life. And if you meet new people right about now, very likely you could meet someone who ends up being a lifelong friend. So do be social, be out and about. You'll be glad for it. What I love about this month for you is that in many ways you will feel, as I said, in your element. You're going to feel like there's a sense of positive change, that you've entered a new energy, a new space where you're able to access that energy of happiness and ease that much more easily. And really, of all the signs out there who can find things change in a snap, could find yourself, whether it's spiritually or practically, going from rags to riches. And for that matter, make sure mid-month you buy a lottery ticket. You are one of the signs, probably one of the signs most likely to be most blessed in terms of just buying a lottery ticket. So make sure you have that, whatever quarter or 50 cents or whatever the case may be, to do that for yourself, because there is real dramatic turnaround energy in the air that can take you from wherever you are now, regardless of how good it is, and move you to a place that feels that much more special.